Hi everybody, it's Peter Schiff here. It's Thursday, July 9th, 2009, and I am taking a break from Freedom Fest. I'm here in Las Vegas at Bally's, and I just came up to the room to record a quick video blog. First, I want to talk a little bit about the subject of the last blog, the minimum wage, because I happen to notice that there was a lot of reaction and comments, and people were interested in this topic. In fact, I decided to write my commentary this week on the minimum wage law, and it will be available on my website at europac.net on Friday. So I would encourage people who are interested in the minimum wage to read that. It's really a synopsis of what I've been talking about. But, one of the reasons that the minimum wage law is probably, one of the stupidest laws ever enacted is what you're basically doing is you're passing a law that's making it illegal for people to work. Because that's all it does. And if you want to think about all the ways the minimum wage law has impacted the economy and has impacted people's lives, think about all the jobs that have been practically eliminated or totally eliminated strictly as a function of the minimum wage. And low-skilled workers are in competition with employers. They compete with high-skilled workers, and they compete with capital. So to think about what happens when you're calling people on a telephone, your small business, and you're ending up getting voicemail. Why is it that there's so many companies that use voicemail? Well, they substitute voicemail for receptionists. Now, I think it's nice to actually talk to a person. I get very frustrated sometimes when I'm stuck in voicemail. I think it would be nice if more people can be hired to answer phones. But again, you have the minimum wage pricing people out of just low-skilled telephone answering jobs, and instead we replace them with automation. The same thing happens in an airport or in the train station. They used to have porters that would carry your luggage. Now there's nobody there. If you want to have your luggage carried, you do it yourself. You pay 50 cents and you rent a push cart. And so we're substituting push carts for labor. I mean, when's the last time somebody pumped your gas? I don't know if anybody, the Back to the Future movie where, the guy drives into the gas station and someone's checking his oil, checking his tire pressure, pumping his gas, washing his windows. All those jobs were eliminated by the minimum wage. Now we just pump the gas ourselves. And, more than just eliminating the jobs, we eliminated opportunity because a lot of kids who got jobs pumping gas ended up being mechanics because between fill-ups, they were working with the mechanics and they learned a trade. But now they don't have that opportunity because they don't get their first job. Some of the people who are watching this video blog, they're probably so young, you don't even know that movie theaters used to have ushers. Once upon a time, when you went to a movie theater, there was always a kid with a flashlight showing you to your seat. Because, when you come in a little late and the theater is dark, how do you find a seat? It's difficult. You trip sometimes. There used to be ushers. Why are there no more ushers? The minimum wage priced them out of existence. One of the reasons that fast food restaurants use plastic silverware, paper plates, is because they don't want to pay dishwashers to wash dishes. Minimum wage destroys that job. And so we substitute capital for labor. Or also, high-priced labor. The more expensive the government makes low-skilled labor, the more it helps higher skilled labor, which is exactly why labor unions are such big proponents of the minimum wage, because it protects their high-paid workers from low-skilled competition by increasing the cost of employing lower-skilled workers. I mean, for example, let's assume that I want to build a fence, and I can hire a high-skilled fence builder who can build my fence at $15 an hour. But let's say I can get 3 lower-skilled workers to build the same fence. They don't have as much skill, so it's going to 3 of them can do it. And if I pay them, let's say $4 an hour, that's $12. Well, I can hire 3 unskilled workers, and that's better than hiring 1 skilled worker. But if there's a minimum wage that raises the wage to $6 an hour, well, now if I want to hire 3 unskilled workers, that's $18. Well, no, I'm not going to hire them now. Now I'm going to hire the 1 skilled worker at $15. I mean, the whole fantasy that you can raise wages with just passing a law is utter nonsense. Higher wages come from higher productivity. There is no shortcut, and the government can't legislate that. And if the government simply says, you have to pay a wage above a certain level, then people who are not that productive are out of work. You cannot force a company to hire somebody when they're going to lose money in the process. And if people are looking to provide the lowest cost product, they have to control their input costs, which includes labor. And if you drive up the cost of labor, we're going to find a substitute. We're going to find a way around it. I mean, look at supermarkets. You can see in a lot of supermarkets now, there's a lot of self-service. There's a lot of, you just scan your own stuff. In fact, speaking of supermarkets, when's the last time somebody bagged your groceries and then walked them out to the car? I remember when I was a boy and my mother went shopping, she never carried her own groceries. There was always somebody to take the groceries all the way to the car and put them in the trunk for her. They don't do that anymore. You're lucky if you even have a bagger. Generally, you bag them yourself, or the person running the cash register is also doing the bagging. And as a result, we wait in longer lines. There's a lot of this. I checked in here at the Bally's Hotel, and when I checked in, there's 10 different checks or registers, but there's only 2 people working. There's a long line. Why aren't they hiring more people? Wage laws. Anyway, enough on that subject. I also want to touch on what's happening with my political campaign. What's going on? Website, Schiff4Senate.com, Schiff4Senate.com. And within another day or two, you will be able to donate to my exploratory committee. I've been doing a lot of research. I've been doing some polling. I have a political consultant now. My running for Senate in Connecticut is a very real possibility. The one thing I'm trying to judge right now is how much support is actually out there. There's a lot of talk about support for me online. People have been encouraging me to run. I've spent some money on some pollings and looking at the feasibility of having a run. But what I want to find out now is, will people actually support this campaign? Will they support it with money? Will they support it by volunteering? I want to gauge that. I want to gauge how real it is. I'm talking about it for the first time here at Freedom Fest. I'm including a potential run for the Senate in some of my presentations. I've already begun talking to some of my clients or some personal relationships I had to judge their support. I'm in the testing of the water phase, so to speak. And so if you want to go to my website at Schiff4Senate.com, you can sign up right now to receive email information about my potential campaign if I make it official, to be advised of that when I officially declare my candidacy. But you can also donate right now. You can go to the Schiff4Senate website and you can make a donation. Because unfortunately, if I am going to run for the Senate, it's going to take a lot of money to run. And while I have money and I will spend some of my own money, I'm not going to finance the campaign all by myself. I'm going to need a lot of help. I'm going to need support from people all around the country, especially since if I decide to run, then the mainstream Republican establishment is probably going to back some of my opponents. And it could end up being a very, very expensive race. Anyway, if you end up contributing to my campaign, and if I decide not to run, I will return the contributions to the people who made them. So if I end up not running and you contribute, you're not wasting your money. But if I decide to run, then I will use that money. And one of the part of the decision-making process, in my mind, is to see, again, if there is real support for my candidacy. If people who really believe in freedom and liberty and sound money and the Constitution, if they're prepared to support that with an actual political contribution, if they're prepared to volunteer their services and work on his campaign. Because I don't have the normal political connections that a lot of my opponents are going to have. And I'm not promising anything specific if I win other than freedom from government, other than going to government to put a stop to everything that they're doing and to try to restore sanity to an insane Congress, to try to be a roadblock. I'm not there to get reelected, so they can't bribe me. They can't find a way to try to promise me something to quiet me down. They won't be able to control me. They'll never have seen a senator like me because I won't be like any other senator. I'm there to do a job and I'm there to leave. And I'm not going to be a politician. And is there support for that kind of candidate? We'll see. And if there is enough support, if I raise enough money in the next few weeks, then I will most likely announce my candidacy for the Senate. Anyway, that's it for everybody today. Thanks for watching these blogs. I'll be back again soon.